Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another session on strategic financial management. So before I proceed, I have to give you some general advice on your assignment. The first thing is that when you answer your assignment, right, when you start answering your assignment, or if you're sending your assignment for feedback, to get your feedback, make sure that you attach the assignment brief with your assignment, right? So this is your assignment brief. This is your assignment brief. So you have the assignment cover sheet. This is where you're going to fill your name, registration, study center, qualification title, rest of the details. And then you have the question. And as you move down, you have the grading criteria. This is the marking sheet, and it is necessary. I need this marking sheet. Without this marking sheet, I cannot assess your assignment. So make sure this entire assignment brief has to be attached in your assignment. Clear? So before you start your assignment, you need to attach this entire assignment brief for any subject. So after you attach, then on the next page, that's when you start answering or addressing the tasks. Is that clear? That is when you start addressing the task. And when you're addressing the task, make sure, or at the end, after you're done with the entire assignment, make sure that you add a page for the table of contents or contents. Right? It is necessary for you to add the content page. Majority of the students don't do that. So please make sure that you do that. And I repeat, your font size has to be 12. Font type Times New Roman, your font size has to be 12. And the spacing in between the lines should be 1.5. Right? 1.5. And their alignment has to be justified. So please make sure that you do these right. And the next thing is, when you're answering the assignment, please make sure that all your tasks are in one document. Don't send me separate documents. 6, 7 separate documents. It's difficult for me to keep a track, right? Because for each student, I have opened a folder. So if you keep sending me 7 documents every week, which is going to be 14, 21, it's difficult for me to assess. It's difficult for me to give you feedback because I can't write feedback on each and every document. So make sure that all your tasks are in one document. Is that clear? And with your presentation, with your PPT slides, yes, it has to be in bullet points. It has to be short and precise, and it should not be too short. So most of the students, what they do is that they don't address the task in their PPT. You have to address the task, right? If they ask you what is the link or how is it related to the clubhouse, when I'm talking about the HR assignment, how is it related to the clubhouse? You have to tell me how it is related. In short, so you can use graphics, you can use diagrams. So what I usually do is that I hate when I prepare PPTs. You would have seen, you know how I prepare PPTs. Even for the sessions, I don't write paragraphs. I use a lot of images and very short terms. Yeah. So when I do PPTs for my assignments, right, for my assignments, for my research work, I use a lot of diagrams. I'll show you some examples. I'll show you a few examples. So what I do is that I shorten everything, right? I summarize the entire detail that I want to deliver during my presentation, and I put it in a diagram. And you have so many softwares that you can use. I will show you a few examples. Give me a second, please. Right, for an example, this is one thing. So this is about definitions and concepts. And I wanted to write a detailed analysis or a detailed description about it in my PPT. So this is how I did it. So as you can see, I've written my details, I've written everything that I wanted, and it doesn't seem overcrowded, and everything is short, and I've also added the citations. So this is how you have to do your PPT. So I use a lot of diagrams. I try to put everything in one slide, everything that is necessary. I'll give you another example. Give me a second. Right, so this is, so we were asked to do an analysis related to a research paper. We were asked to do an analysis related to a research paper. And this is how I assessed my strength and weaknesses. You see this? So I've discussed everything. I've written everything that I have to, whatever that the criteria or whatever that I need to address to the particular task, I've added everything. Yeah, so this is how you have to do PPTs. You have to think out of the box. Think how can you present everything, but it should not be overcrowded. It should be pleasing. It should be eye-catching to the audience. So you have to think, how am I supposed to do it? So these are the ways that how I present my PPTs. I use a lot of colors. So if it is important, I make sure that the important headings are, the font is larger than the other ones. See this? So strengths and weaknesses. I've covered everything in one slide and it's quite detailed. So this is how you have to do your PPT. I'll show you one more. This is a conclusion. So this is where I've analyzed the research paper. This is about a theory. It's called as ILP theory, Institute Logistic Perspective. It's a research paper that was done by the authors or the pioneers of ILP were them. So we were asked to actually do a critical analysis on this paper. And this is the conclusion. See this? So this is how you have to do your PPT. So don't be old school. Don't stick to your old school method where you write the bullet points and, draw and what do you call, attach an image or use a template. Think out of the box. Be creative, right? Be creative. Think out of the box and see how can you write everything in one PPT. How can you address the task in one PPT? I don't mind even if you use two PPTs, but make sure that you address the task and make sure that you have not written paragraphs, right? It has to be short, but whatever the points that you need to address the task has to be given in the PPT. Clear? And make sure that you write the in-text citation and your references. I've been repeating this many times, but the students still do the same mistake. Please don't use any references that how can I say, that's not reliable, right? That's not reliable. Don't use any sources that that's not reliable. There's so many books, there's so many journal articles, and I've taught you how to find ranked journals. Use them. And don't use sources that is 30 years, 40 years old. Those concepts have changed. Things have changed now. Yeah, so they're no more, how do I say, it's no more how certain definitions or certain concepts that was 40 years ago, right? It's not the same now. Things have changed. So that's the reason we ask you to take references, take information from sources within less than 10 years. right? Some of the universities, they ask you to take sources 5 years time, but we have allowed you to take 10 years. So make sure that you do that, and do not use or do not take any information from Wikipedia, Investopedia. There are some other common sites. UK essays, no. UK essays, no. Please do not take any information from these websites, right? But what you can do is when you go to Wikipedia, as I told you, they've given the reference list at the end of the page. Go to these original documents and then take the information from these sources. Yeah, I used to do that. So I go to Wikipedia, and as you go down, they have the references, the original authors or the original sources. Go to those and take information from them, right? Same with journal articles as well. If you find one journal article that is related to your topic, and at the end of the journal article, there's an entire reference list that you can go and find those references, find those sources to support your answer. Is that clear, everyone? Please type 1 on the chat box if that's clear. And please don't do the same mistake again. Okay, great. All right, now with your I'm going to start discussing your assignment, a very short discussion on your assignment. I want to have it today because we're in the beginning of the stage, so you can start answering. Right, so your assignment brief, which is this, is on the LMS. You can download it. You have the PDF and you have the Word document. So you can download any of the format. And there's something called important documents on the LMS. There's something called important documents on the LMS. Under important document, you have something called the assignment sketch. I missed it again. Right? Under important documents on the LMS. Okay. When you go to LMS, the course that you're registered with, you have to go to documents, the folder documents. Under documents, you have to click the finance module, right? The finance module. Under finance module, you have something called important documents, right? You have something called the important documents. Under important documents, you will find something called assignment sketch, right? You will find something called the assignment sketch. This is the assignment sketch. Now, what this assignment sketch is, I have made things very easy for you. So I have thoroughly analyzed the paper and I have broken the task down into smaller portions. So task 1, what are the areas that you need to address? Task 2, what are the areas that you need to address? Task 3, what are the areas that you need to address? How do you start your assignment? How do you approach the question? Everything is explained here in the assignment sketch. Clear? So as you can see, this is the assignment sketch. Task 1, you have 3 tasks in your assignment. Let me go through the assignment first and then come back to this. Right, so this is your assignment. So this is a case study, right? The case study is actually this one, which is under task 3. You have to address the case study in task 3. That is about PENCO. And then you have task 1, where you have to write a briefing report. So for the briefing report, what you have to do is you have to select 2 companies that is listed in the LSE, right? Or you can select 2 companies that is registered with the Colombo Stock Exchange. So you can either take 2 Sri Lankan companies, listed companies, or you can select 2 companies from the UK stock market. So it's up to you to decide. And if you're in Canada, so you can take any 2 companies that is listed there. So the reason why we ask you to select listed companies is because you need to access, or you have to have the access to the annual reports of the companies, right? You need to access the annual reports of the company. So if they're, so most of the time, private companies or non-listed companies, they don't publicly publish their annual reports. So that's the reason you're encouraged to select listed companies. And when you select, after you select, there is a form, right, on the LMS again. There is a form where you have to fill it and send it to me to get the approval, whether you can go ahead with these 2 companies for your analysis. So take the approval in the beginning. That's what I'm telling you. That's the reason why I started the assignment discussion so early. You need to get the approval for you to have an early start, get the approval at an early stage. So you can start, analyzing the annual reports. You can start on that. Because no 2 students can select the same company. You're not allowed, right? For an example, Akhtas Ali and Fahir Muhammad can't choose the same company. So say for an example, Akhtas chose Dialogue and Mobitel. Fahir cannot choose Dialogue. Yeah. So all 16 students that is present here have to choose 16 or 32 different companies. Clear? So that's the reason that I want you to, I want you to fill this particular document and then send it to me to get the approval so you can have an early start. So task 1, you are supposed to analyze the financial statements of the companies, and I'll be teaching you how to analyze. Here, you'll be analyzing, or you'll be doing something called the ratio analysis, and you'll also do something called the investment appraisal method. Once you do the ratio analysis, you get the result. Now, once the results are out, you have to do your analysis. So you have to compare. Is company A good or company B good? So if B is doing or outperforming company A, why? And how do you say that they're outperforming? On what regards? On what basis? This is the analysis and interpretation, right? And task 2, here it's theory. Task 2 and 3 is theoretical. Task 1 is combination of theory, not theory, I would say analysis, yeah, justification and calculation. Whereas task 2, it's completely theory, and task 3 is also theoretical, but it's a case study. It's a case study analysis, right? So you can start on your task 3 now, right? We've done we've done cost accounting. We've done some areas on cost on the topic cost accounting. So you can start answering the task 3, right? So go through your assessment, go through the case study, and maybe you can give a head start to your assignment. Is that clear? And now let me show you the assignment sketch. And trust me, this assignment sketch is going to give you, or it's going to guide you on how to do your assignment, and it's going to be your work is going to be much more easier if you're using the assignment sketch. Just do or just follow the instruction. That's it. Just follow the instruction. You don't even have to worry about the assessment criteria because I've got it covered in the instruction, right? So you don't have to worry about the assessment criteria, nothing. Just follow the instruction. So task 1, you need to start with a brief introduction to the company, which is Penco company, and also the selected 2 companies. Analyze and interpret financial statement, like income statement and balance sheet. Then calculate the financial ratios, do the analysis, do the interpretation, then justify, provide recommendation, and then investment appraisal. You have to find the payback period, NPV, ARR, IRR, justify your analysis, and the final justification based on the financial statement, financial ratios, investment appraisal calculation. Just follow this instruction. That's it. You're complete. Your task 1 is complete if you follow the instruction. You don't follow the instruction, then you're in big trouble. Yeah. Next, task 2. So task 2 is the easiest out of all 3 tasks. You just have to discuss or explain on what short-term and long-term funds are. And then you have to choose source or many sources of finance. And you have to have a discussion, a thorough discussion on the pros and cons of these sources of finance. And you have to select which source of finance would be the ideal choice for PINCO and why. Yeah, and why. And then, as you see, this is the instruction for task 2. And then we have the task 3 discussion. That's it. You're done. So please follow the instruction on the assignment sketch. This assignment sketch is there on the LMS. As I told you, documents, strategic financial management. Under strategic financial management, there is a folder called important documents. Under important documents, there are many documents, right? There are many. If you get into that folder, you'll see there are many. And in that, you will have something called assignment sketch, L7 assignment sketch. And this is the one you have to follow to finish your assignment. Is that clear? Have you got any questions related to assignment or any questions that it related to any other assignments that you're working on? Any questions? All clear? If it's difficult for you to, speak over the mic, you can send me a direct message or you can type on the chat box. Everything is clear? All clear? All good? Great. Okay. All right. Great. So we'll wrap up the session. I'm going to end the session here today. We'll wrap up the session for today and I'll see you next week, same time, with the rest of the session. Right.